Good evening, viewers. Welcome to channel Yemaswati News. I'm Linda Shong. But first, let's take a quick recap on our top stories making headlines this evening. The National Commissioner of Police, while visiting Subani area, promised to sponsor students of Subani school with school shoes and soccer kits. Government property, which was in a project of construction of the road Escombeni, was set alight by non-us. Mozambican nationals conducting business in the Manzini city were in a conflict with security guards following that they do not have operating permits that are valid. The Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, represented by the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Honorable Pilar Telezi, officially opened a hall that will be used by trucks that are ferrying sugar to various companies across the country, as it is established in Big Bend through the ESWATINI Sugar Association.
Of all business is development and growth in the country. Growth in one sector translates to growth in the economy of the country through exports, the export earnings thereof, and the multiplier effects from those activities. We are therefore thrilled to witness such a monumental growth in the Eswatini sugar industry, which, as you all know, is not only integral to the economy through contributing close to 10% of the country's GDP, but it also is also the largest private sector employer in the kingdom. As government will take a strong pride in the Eswatini sugar industry, especially as it continues to play an important multifaceted role in the development of the Eswatini economy.
In the morning to Big Bend on a very winter and chilly morning. Thank you for honoring our invitation. This day has been a long time coming, and now that it is upon us, we look forward to engaging all operations full steam ahead. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic presented its own dynamics to each one of us and changed the way we went about our daily lives. As such, we do not take for granted that we are finally able to congregate in this manner by God's grace and for such a momentous occasion. One of the 4 strategic objectives of Eswatini Sugar Association corporate strategy and marketing as a council for the assets to be installed in our operation. The Eswatini Sugar Association approved this construction to meet the increasing customer demand of VHP DC sugar in 1-ton bags and 50 kg bags, which sugar is earmarked for the region and also the domestic market. The bagging station and warehouse was constructed taking into account food safety compliance guidelines.
Linda Shong with Justice Lamini, Big Band. Yemaswati are warned not to set alight their fire emulsion while sleeping, as these might cause accidents or start fire. This was revealed by the Public Relations Officer for National Disaster Management Agency, Mr. Yemaswati.
The National Disaster Management Agency, NDMA, in the country wants the nation to be cautious with fire since it's the winter season. Speaking to Channel Yemaswati journalists, the agency's communication officer Wandile Mavuso highlighted that it is common practice for Yemaswati to use imbawula during this season, even indoors, whereas this causes great damage to buildings and properties. Mavuso also stated that people should ensure that fireplaces and heaters, candles and the whole lot are switched off after use. He also stated that research has showed that the country has lost millions of emalangeni and precious lives due to fires. Hence, it is very important for every individual to take the necessary measures when dealing with.
asiwacishe phela bekunene ngemandi sente siciniseko sokuthi acishile lama fireplace uma sesiyothi beka phansi sesilala. Kulabo labasebenzisa imbawula nakhona sendlulisa isicwayiso bekunene sithi asitikhiphele ngaphandle phela imbawula sente siciniseko sokuthi sithela umhlabathi noma sicisha ngemandi. Kulabo ke labasebenzisa emakhandlela bekunene emakhandlela elingodi kakhulu, siyacela ukuthi lingabhekiswa phasi letinyembe lidalo libekwe noma nganguphi. Uma ngabe kude le ndishi yekulibambisa lelikhandlela, siyacela usimane ujube esikotela uthele umhlabathi la khazi bese ushutheka la khazi lelikhandlela bekunene. Njengoba kubusika nje siyacwayisa ukuthi asingadlali nangemethiso bekunene, kuyingodi kakhulu sitawugcina sesishisa emadlelo sesishise nemahlathi la insika emnotfo welive. Kungaba kondlulisa isicwayiso nje esivele seMaswati kulelo hlanga. Sakhumbula ukuthi nga-2019 kwaba nemililo leyasuka yashisa live, kwaba netihlahla letinsika emnotfo welive letasha emahlathini abo Montigny naboshiselweni forestry. Senda licwaningo ke nga-2019 from April to June la sathola khona ukuthi budlapha noma impahla lelimele yala Swatini kuleto tinyanga letine yaba ngu-74 million. Asifune ke mnethu kubuyela kuleyo situation la khona live lalahlekelwa impahla lalahlekelwa nangomphefumulo, ngoba umlilo awubuke kuphela ukuthi kushaya iganga, kusha nema structures, kusha nemapola gas, gcina sekude gas 7, kusha nema structures abo telecommunications, gcina sesingakhona ukuchumana even naseSwatini. So sicwayisa ngalolo hlangothi ukuthi kungagcine sekuyidis.
In closing, Mavuso urged Yemaswati to shy away from the burning of forests, for it is a dry season and these fires usually give a bad result to infrastructures. Reporting for Channel Yemaswati News, I am Nomvuselo Simelane with Temalangini Dlamini Mbabane.
Government property which was in a project of construction of the road ESWATINI was set alight by non-arsonists. The residents of the community strongly condemned such an act.
Inyati construction heavy plant machinery was burnt down by unidentified arsonists at Sikombeni. This happened yesterday around 6 p.m. Police officers are yet to assess the damage and conduct an investigation.
Sitshela ke bantwana ukuthi kuyashala phangeshe contract ikhulumi Takanyanzi ngiphume ke nami mntwana ngikhanze ukuthi tiyasha ngifoko letikhulumba leti la lemishina lebekwa ngayo sibona vele iyasha bekuhleke kakhulu longabathi bhamu noma ke emathani phela ngoba le mishina inabo diesel nabo petrol wanyamalala phela sekwahle solongo siyami sibuka ngamehlo se-helpless ngabe sisonzeleke nekuhlabeni yenzeleke sicakwe ukuthi bekuhle kuqhuma lokusathi usabe sike sesithinzibala ke khona kashana sibuhlungu kakhulu ngalelo kwenteka bongabe but awuthini yona executive yayo inyathi ngaba ngiloko nje ngosicelele sivele usawu sive sengwenyana singete salalele lesitafuna kungakashoni la ngabe phela kukhona kuphambana lapha nalapha khulunyiswana.
This channel spoke to one of the neighbors, Simon Sibanze, who narrated that they heard gunshots and immediately notified the police. Reporting is Tibuile Mtembu, Mbabane.
The government spokesperson condemns the threats that are circulating, where it is stated that the country might see incidents of June 29 last year. It is stated that these are news that are here to disturb peace, law and order.
The so-called united for the final push by political formations may actually end up translated a fragmentation for the final collapse of these formations in the country. The contradictions within their ranks are glaringly in the open. Yemaswati are no longer prepared to be used as pounds and foot soldiers in yet another theatre of deadly episodes as seen on June 29, 2021. Yemaswati in their entity must reject the idea of using them as fire candles, which will leave the country in a traumatic state again. Their attempts at engineering a second episode of the June 29 unrest may continue to pose serious danger to the lives and properties of Yemaswati. The future of our children will further be stolen again by gangs whose identities remain unknown. Finally, government takes this opportunity to urge the nation to stay away from the proposed June 29 activities. It is obvious that if these planned activities go ahead, peace and the rule of law will be compromised as such. And this is a press statement from the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
The National Commissioner of Police, while visiting Subane area, promised to sponsor students of Subane School with school shoes and soccer kits, stating that it is essential to also support the children in the community so that they can grow and have a sound mind.
Learners of the Subane Primary School were left with joyful hearts when the police commissioner visited them and promised to donate a soccer ball and netball. This happened when the commissioner had visited the Subane area, then decided to have a greet and meet with the learners, where he also promised to buy school shoes for 12 students.
Good morning, children. Good morning. Hola, netinyoka imvelo asiyibulali inyoka. Inyoka asiyibulali siyayiqweshisa iphele kuphi ehlathini. Siyiqweshe kahle ingasilumi. Uyabona? Ngeke silume inyoka ayilumali, ungayiphakamisa imvubu.
Channel Yemaswati News, Biwokuhle Dlamini.
The MTN Foundation donated to a care point of ESWATINI in Nyonyane area where they were presenting a garden and also a fencing project which is part of the 21 days of yellow care.
MTN ESWATINI continues with their 21 days yellow care campaign where they help the needy around the country. The finance department of MTN continued with the good work they have been doing in the past years by helping the needy with shelter, and today they were in Nyonyane. Speaking with the finance manager, who told the station that as MTN they are very proud to be able to give back to the community.
As part of our 2025 Ambition 2025 strategy, in that city siyasebenta nema communities lesikuwo because ekugcineni kwakhona sinathi MTN azidlodlobala zinkampani zidlodlobale kanye ne community, so siphumileke singe-MTN yalo ngajune njengenhlala yenda sila kuma communities siyabona ukuthi yini lesingasida ngayo, so thina singi-finance ka MTN sidecide ukuthi la enyonyane kule care point le lena ke i-care point i-project lesayi adopt about 4 years ago, so we have been working with this care point for the past 4 years, so sicale ngokuthi si-renovate safaka nabo gezi and nyalo njengoba sibona sinamhla sibhizi sifaka ligede because nefenisi because bese kuyinto lebe bayidzinga. So lesikwendako futhi namhla ke sikhona la nje uma nibona silangatheni sitohlanyela ema vegetables so that batokhona ukuthi bachubeke baphile ngoba le care point lena.
Numalo concluded by pointing out that even other departments of MTN are also helping out in other areas in the country. Reporting for Channel Yemaswati News, I am Dlamini Puoguhle. Reporting for Channel Yemaswati News, I am Puoguhle Dlamini. ESWATINI.
Mozambican nationals conducting business in the Manzini city were in a conflict with security guards following that they do not have operating permits that are valid. They had strangled each other. Following that, they had disagreements with one of them who's been incarcerated by the security guards.
There was a huge quarrel at Manzini bus rank today between Mozambican nationals who were fighting over stalls. It is said that one of the vendors had illegally occupied a stall that does not belong to her. One of the women also alleged that she had been attacked by another vendor who was arrested today.
Baphela lishangana lakithi bathi lenza bayalomnyaka ophelile lishangana liyaqala nokufika la kangwane nesinamhla balifaseta isimba balimikisa amaphoyiseni nasemaphoyiseni bathi sitemvume ukuthengisa sitemvume ukuhlala la kangwane sicela ukuthi basinike ama-permit nyalo bamuvalele lapho lo muntu asifuna kubuta ukuthi uyenteni bathi bone ngunelicala la umnyaka lo phela sitsheleni ukuthi uyenteni ngolo muntu angashaya umuntu angayendini uyafika namhla nje bamfasa ngethi simnabo global malume thina sigangi siyadiphandela so sibuye amaphuthu sathi kuphekela maphoyisa nabasibopha bathi 300 fine ngiyakuthengisa sicela ukuthi basinika kanje basitshela ukuthi stop phanda kuphi ngoba nyana ngene boxani yeba batothi siyaganga futhi sicela musiphendula ngeliphoyisa liyamshaya lithi wena lishangana thule emsini ubanga emsini mina akakhala thafuna icingo lakhe liyamshaya limshayela inde liphoyisa noma security liyamshaya ngempapho lithi thule emsini wena lishangana ukuthi wena utemvumela ukuhlala la kakhulu imali musifayini 400 kusasa kwakhona bayisayinisa 700 bathi nzabe kuthengisa nisho manje abazanga nje basimikisele sobona tosela ukuthi stop phanda kuphi sini kancane basikhanze emgwaqweni basibopha basimikisela lapha bazofuna imali efine 400 imali mina kanamuntu ongamthola yini.
What is surprising is that the accused was not in the country during that time. Reporting is Dibuyile Mthembu, Mbabane.
Private investigator Hunter Shong and Makanya, a traditionalist, eyed loggerheads debating over the sponsorship of traditional healers while going to initiation schools. We have a report.
Private investigator Hunter Shongwe says government should not be implicated in matters that won't benefit the country. Shongwe was commenting on one of the points raised at the traditional healers meeting, which requested government to sponsor Tinyanga initiation schools.
Dona tifuna ukuthi nathi yothwasa tibhadalelwe nguhulumende kusho ukuthi onke emazayoni lehlelwa imimoya nawo atawufuna ukuthi abhadalelwe nguhulumende. Into lesingeke siyende bafundisi abayibhadali i-tax tinyanga atitibhadali i-tax tinyanga ti-rich inemali lenengi kakhulu kabi tiqala kuphengula nga-250 letinye 300 letinye 500 tihambe tiyobethela likhaya nga-5,000 nanga-10,000 into lesingazange size siyive silahlekelwa abantu sibakhanze tinyangeni sebakhuluma etigujini tinyanga tiyahluleka kusichazela ukuthi umuntu ungena njani esigujini seliselwa sinetinkinga letinengi kakhulu ngetinyanga nje tinyanga atikaphathwa nguhulumende titiphethe tona tenda mathanda etukwethu ngaphandle kokubhadala cent for i-tax. Ngiyaxolisa ngokuthi tinyanga tingathi tona tifuna ukuthi natehlelwe lidlodi bese kungena uhulumende. Ungena aphi uhulumende enzabeni yakho nelidlodi lakho ngoba inzaba ngabe uyicetha naleli dlodi lakho ngoba ngilo litawusebenzela wena hayi ukuthi wena usisebenzi sahulumende awusiso sisebenzi sahulumende utisebenzela wena.
Responding to Mr. Shongwe, President of ESWATINI Witch Doctors Association Makanya had this to say.
Kejana ke lokukhulu kakhulu lesikhuluma ngakho thina sithinyanga thina sikhuluma ngekwelapha lizayoni nalo nangabe liyohlelwa ngumoya kuyawufanele ukuthi lithole lelungelo lethola ngudokotela nangabe dokotela umntwana saphase kahle esikolweni ahamba yofundiswa kwelapha ngani ngoba lokwelapha kwesintu ngiko libekukhona ngalo luhlelo lwentwa nguhulumende ukuthi uhulumende utawufundisa labanye ababhadalele kwelapha labanye abafundise angawabhadaleli kwelapha kuyafa lo ngabhadalelwa kuyaphila lo kubhadalelwa ngiloko lesikushowo nyokangwenya kakubekena ngani ngoba nasezulwini bamqosha phela nyokangwenya waqoshwa sambulo 12 verse 7 waqoshelwa kwashaya eMikhayeli lapha bangasabikana noNkulunkulu so lento abayiqoshe kothwaseni ngani ngoba indonje yayichekile lento abayiqosha naseJericho ngalokuba lenkonzo yayichekile so limile ke lapha empuleni so litawuyitake ibone yona nakuzaneni so ke ngenyelanga nawutawuhamba phela ukukhuluma nabantu abachekeleta ingqondo nawe utagcina uchekele ingqondo.
Reporting for Channel Yemaswati News, I am Demalanga Dlamini with Gary Carlos Ezulwini.
Limpopo University today donated to Qetu CZ Primary. It is a school which is neighboring them, part of their CSI project. Butatu Industry today was opening shop at Mochane. They are a shop that will supply contractors with material as it was difficult to maneuver through town with building material.
Construction companies and builders are very happy with the opening of Butatu General Suppliers. The opening of Butatu will easily avail materials and equipment in areas far from town, since it was a struggle to travel a very long distance to access equipment.
Siyasatisiwe sekwakha kuthi everybody vela uyaphisa kwa lekhaya lakhe uyaphisa kwakha and ngalapha sibone le development ekhona ngalapha boMoshane bo-Oshoke border gate and the surrounding areas ngalapha edrobheni kukhashave siyaliphusa ama-customer abaningi achamuka vele ngala emakhaya and then bese bawuza le challenge kuthi phansi kutholakale bo-transport yoyewa nemadrobheni lapha phithithela khona so sabona ke le opportunity kuthi kungcono ukuthi siba ne-store tangabe tanda nemaswati lala funa le material ekwakhathi litabo so that is why sikhetha this particular area ukuthi sitaka lapha la Okay, ngiyabonga. I think it's a solution, yes. To the customers' needs already, it's provided a solution. Sibona ka turn out nekhona nje namhle extend sivulile. No, I think many customers are going to be happy. Uyabona even now lapha eTole highway, you can see it right along the highway. Noma now coming from the bottom area, going to BSA, just above BSA. Now coming from village, coming on your way, the corner on your left hand side you will find it. Now coming on the Lagos Kangeni area, Ganena, it's Saturday.
Reporting for Channel Yemaswati News, Piwo Buhle Dlamini, Mochane.
Recapping our top stories to end English news. The National Commissioner of Police, while visiting Subani area, promised to sponsor students of Subani school with school shoes and soccer kits. Government property, which was in a project of construction of the road Escombeni, was set alight by non-us. Mozambican nationals conducting business in the Manzini city were in a conflict with security guards following that they do not have operating permits that are valid. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, please do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.
This weather forecast is proudly brought to you by FSRA.